Hi friends, welcome back to Alaskan Homemaker. I'm Mary. Today we're going to be making a Korean stew. It's called Budae Jigae. It's called an army-based stew. It's a fusion food from the war. So let's get started. It's really delicious. Okay, we're going to make our paste first, our sauce. Okay, we've got our measuring cup here. This is 6 cloves of my homegrown garlic that I pureed and I froze. So I'm just going to chop it up a little bit and get that into our measuring cup for our sauce. Okay. I have Kochujung. It's Korean red pepper flakes. It is different than regular red pepper flakes. These are like, the heat is milder on the Korean red pepper flakes. So if you can get this, you'll want to get the Korean red pepper flakes. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 tablespoon. It calls for 2, but Chad doesn't like it too spicy, so I always cut down the spice a little bit. And we're going to put 1 tablespoon of Kochujung. It's a Korean red pepper paste. You can get this at your Asian food market. This is really good. It's like savory, sweet, spicy, everything all together. It's really good. So we're going to put 1 tablespoon of Kochujung. And here's what it looks like. It's like a thick paste. And we'll get that in here. We need 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. So I'm just going to eyeball that. I'm using liquid aminos for my soy sauce today. And we need 1 teaspoon of sugar. Okay, we're going to put 2 tablespoons of water. And we'll give that a mix. And the garlic will dissolve while we're cutting up our veggies. I have a half of an onion diced up already. I used it it was already in the fridge all diced up, so I've got that. And then we're going to use about 1 cup of cabbage. And I'm just going to guess, I'm going to use this much. I've got some broth from a chicken I made, so I'm going to get that into the pot. You need 8 cups of broth. The original recipe uses a kelp anchovy broth, and Chad he doesn't like that kind of stuff, and it's got mushrooms, and one of our children doesn't like mushrooms too, so I just use chicken broth in this, and it tastes really good. This is my canned broth. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of salt in with the broth. I don't salt my broth when I can it, so I'm going to salt it now. I'm going to use that there. Okay, and we'll slice up our cabbage. And I'm gonna go ahead and dump, the burner's not on, but I'm just gonna go ahead and dump the ingredients as I chop them into our stew. I will link the recipe in the description box below. I'm going to chop 4 green onions. I'm going to use some for garnish, and then the rest I'm going to put into our stew. I want the green parts for the garnish. Okay, now we'll just chop up the rest of these. Okay. I have some kielbasa sausage. So I'm using about, the sausage usually looks like a big loop, and I'm using about half of the loop, I think. So I'm going to get those chopped up into quarters. It's still a little bit frozen. Okay, I have some pork tenderloin here that's I thawed out. We slice it really thin, and then we freeze it into portions that we'll use, are good for our family. Okay, so it's thinly sliced, and then I'm just gonna slice it again sideways. Now we're going to get a can of Spam, and we're going to use about 1/3 of the can of Spam. I washed the cutting board all up. I'm just going to use a fork to get that out. And then we'll save the rest for something else. And then I'm going to cut it into cubes. Okay, and I have half a cup of my kimchi from the garden. I grew Napa cabbage last year and made some kimchi. And I am going to pour the juice into here, and then I'm going to chop up the kimchi. This is a half a cup of kimchi. And you want the well-fermented kimchi for this recipe. Okay, and I have some potato starch, sweet potato starch noodles here. And you can get those at your Korean grocery store also. I get a big bag and it lasts, and you can make japchae and different dishes with it. When they cook, they're clear noodles. Some people call them glass noodles. So I'm gonna drain these, and then we'll get those into our stew. And you just want about this much, like 2 ounces worth. So we're gonna get that into our stew. And I've got some rice cakes here, the little coin rice cakes. They're little ovals. And those come in the freezer section at your Asian grocery store. And they're in a packet like this. And they're just little frozen rice cakes that are really good. So if you can find them, you want those. And the noodles, those potato starch noodles and the rice cakes, I've been soaking. You want to soak them at least like an hour before you start cooking. That way they can soften up a bit. So you just want to cover them with cold water and let them soak. So we're going to pour off the water. And this is probably about about 3/4 of a cup of rice cakes. Okay, and I have a regular thing of ramen here. You can get any flavor, and then we just need a half of it. So I'm going to break this in half, and I'm just going to put half of the noodles. And I'm not going to put any of the seasoning packet in there. Here's a runaway noodle. Okay, and now we're going to start our stew and get it going. And we're going to give it a mix. And we're going to get our seasoning paste into our stew. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure all the noodles and the rice cakes are underneath the liquid so that they can get softened up. And I've got it on a medium high right now, and I'll just keep my eye on it. And I'm just gonna let this simmer until the noodles are done. It'll probably take about 30 minutes. So I'll bring you back when it's done. Our stew is done. Here's our delicious Budae Jigae. Okay, I put a little tiny bit of salt in there, about probably a teaspoon more. So now we'll give it a try. Ooh, that's so delicious. It's a nice, delicious, hearty, comforting stew on a winter day. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.